The Islamic Republic of Iran is trying to pull off what they're calling the greatest state funeral in their history. 7 days, 5 cities, 2 countries, millions of mourners in the streets, 50 nations represented. The whole world is watching. And tomorrow, the regime will complete the final act. They will lay the body of the dead supreme leader to rest in the holiest city in Iran in front of the entire world and show that the Islamic Republic is still standing, still unified, still in control. There's just one problem. The man who was supposed to be at the center of that performance was nowhere to be found. And that is the story that changes everything about what happens next. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, here to help you make sense of the madness with breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. So you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It's been over 4 months since that devastating dawn airstrike tore through a compound in Tehran and ended the 36-year iron rule of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei on the very first day of the war. For 4 straight months, as bombs fell, missiles flew, and oil tankers burned in the Strait of Hormuz, his body sat unburied. Now, under the fragile, creaking umbrella of a temporary ceasefire, the regime has been staging a week-long funeral procession across Iran and Iraq. Tehran first, then Qom, then across the border to the holiest Shia shrines in Najaf and Karbala in Iraq, before the body finally comes home to Mashhad tomorrow, July 9th, for burial at the shrine of Imam Reza, the holiest city in Iran, the city where Khamenei was actually born. But despite the high number of attendees for this week-long funeral, it's the absence of one person in particular that's garnering the most interest. The supreme leader's son, Mojtaba Khamenei, the current supreme leader of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the man who is technically the highest authority in the most powerful theocratic regime on the planet, he has thus far failed to attend any of the ceremonies. In fact, since the first day of the war in late February, Mojtaba Khamenei has not been seen publicly at all, not once. He communicates only through written statements, his own auto pen. He never shows his face or even a voice recording, nothing. For 4 straight months, the man supposedly running the Islamic Republic has been, for all practical purposes, a ghost. His face reportedly burned, his leg operated on 3 times, according to reporting from the New York Times and Reuters. And now, on the single most watched day Iran has experienced since the 1979 revolution, the ghost, once again, has failed to appear. The regime is about to bury its former supreme leader in its holiest city without its current supreme leader present, in front of millions of mourners, in front of cameras from across the world, with a legitimacy question sitting right at the center of the entire ceremony that no amount of state television choreography can make disappear. But here's the layer nobody is connecting properly right now, and it's the one that changes the entire danger calculus around tomorrow, July 9th, the day of the Supreme Leader's burial. What we have to understand here is that up until now, so during the earlier Tehran ceremonies, Iran had something it will not have in Mashhad tomorrow. And that's an invisible layer of diplomatic protection. Over these last several days, the ceremonies featured a number of diplomats and leaders from around the world. So when Pakistan's prime minister is standing in the crowd, when Russia's Dmitry Medvedev is standing in the crowd, when delegations from 70 nations are all there physically present, as they've been over the last several days, no adversary, not even one with the operational capability and the stated willingness to act, launches a strike. The diplomatic presence was functionally a human shield, whether anyone ever said it out loud or not. But tomorrow in Mashhad, that shield, that diplomatic shield, will be gone. The prime ministers and ex-presidents have already flown home. What remains tomorrow is a domestic religious ceremony in a country that's just detonated their own peace agreement with degraded radar networks, repeatedly struck command and control infrastructure, and the most sophisticated Western and Israeli military surveillance apparatus on the planet watching from above. And President Trump has already signaled that he's ready to eliminate the current leadership as well.
But all of it's gone. Everything's gone. Their leaders are gone. They had leaders, they're gone. And they had another set of leaders, they're gone. Now they have another set of leaders, they may be gone. Who knows?
And Iran knows it, which is why the security lockdown going into Mashhad tomorrow is being described as extraordinary. Airspace sealed, highways locked down, IRGC units throughout the city. But here's the uncomfortable truth about extraordinary security measures in a country whose military infrastructure has been bombed repeatedly for 4 straight months. Extraordinary security measures are only as strong as the infrastructure underneath them. But ironically, it's not a foreign force watching from satellites above that poses the most real danger for tomorrow's burial. It's something that's happening inside Iran as we speak, and it may indeed change everything. Gang, you have all got to go right now to turleytalkscrypto.com. I'll tell you why in a moment. What I'm about to share with you is the single most blatant Wall Street about face of our lifetimes. In 2017, BlackRock CEO Larry Fink called Bitcoin, I kid you not, quote, an index of money laundering. Bitcoin was money laundering. Today, BlackRock holds over 800,000 Bitcoin. Worth $63 billion. That's more than the United States Treasury has, more than any nation on earth has. So here's the question every patriot needs to ask. The same Wall Street establishment that called Bitcoin a scam for 10 years, that mocked you for asking about it, is now its single largest buyer. Are you watching what they said, or are you looking at what they're doing? Gang, this is the great financial reversal of our lifetime. President Trump put Bitcoin in America's strategic reserve. BlackRock is buying it by the billion. The Bitcoin Act in Congress authorizes $1 million more for the Treasury. The only people not in the room, the everyday Americans, told it was too risky for their retirement. Well, that's what I want you to know about Block Trust IRA. They built the platform that lets you do inside your retirement account exactly what BlackRock and the U.S. Treasury are doing on their balance sheets. Institutional cold storage custody through SFOX and AI portfolio management through their amazing Animus AI system. I've been a client of Block Trust IRA for months now, and gang, I can tell you I love them. Right now, for Turley Talks listeners only, go to turleytalkscrypto.com, get up to $2,500 in free crypto when you fund a qualifying account, plus a complimentary 30-minute call with their team where you'll get real answers and real solutions. Wall Street laughed at Bitcoin for a decade. Now they're buying it by the billions. Don't be the last one in. It's time to take control of your financial destiny. Go to turleytalkscrypto.com. We have to understand that Iran is not a unified country marching solemnly toward Mashhad. It's a deeply fractured society right now. Hardline conservatives within the IRGC have publicly vowed to resist further diplomacy until Mojtaba Khamenei surfaces, until he appears physically in public and proves he's alive and in command. They've called for the prosecution and indeed the death of Iranian negotiators from the pragmatist wing. At the funeral ceremonies this week, Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi, the man conducting the nuclear talks that are the only thing standing between this ceasefire and another full-blown war, was chased down the street by IRGC hardliners calling him a traitor. The factional war over who actually runs Iran right now, the negotiators who signed the MOU with the United States or the hardliners who view that memorandum as surrender, is being waged in real time underneath the choreography of the state funeral. Mojtaba Khamenei, via AutoPen, has publicly expressed divergent views from Iran's elected president on the June memorandum. This is the supreme leader and the president of the same government openly at odds on their nation's most significant diplomatic agreement in a generation. So here's the bottom line. Tomorrow, Iran is burying its former supreme leader in its holiest city, most likely without its current supreme leader present. The hardliners want to see Mojtaba with their own eyes, and they're threatening their own diplomats who they see as traitors. The diplomats are terrified of the hardliners. The negotiating table is empty for the duration of this funeral at exactly the moment the internal pressure and now the external pressure are at their maximum. Unfortunately for everyone involved, in many respects, the hardliners would love to see the funeral disrupted, simply because that would make continued negotiation with the United States politically impossible. The negotiators want the diplomacy to continue, on the other hand. The hardliners are threatening to execute the negotiators. With that kind of internal discord, the question nobody in any briefing room is willing to answer out loud right now is simple. How confident is anyone in Tel Aviv, in Washington, in Tehran, in Mashhad, that tomorrow goes according to the script? Because tightly choreographed performances in the middle of active conflicts with a ghost supreme leader, a fractured government, millions of grieving and angry people in summer heat, and the world's most sophisticated military surveillance apparatus watching from above have a way of not going according to anyone's script at all. So watch tomorrow closely, because if it goes wrong, the next phase of this conflict may make everything that came before it look like a warm-up.